prediction and analysis, it's literally cut in half. I'm obviously talking about Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barbosa Jr. Watch the breakdown. You guys know your boxing. Everything that on paper that jumps out in terms of the physicality, the athleticism, is Teofimo Lopez. Those odds, but you guys know if you watch my prediction, based off of what I've seen in the recent fights, Teo's coming off those 2 decision victories against Claggett and Jermaine Ortiz. He hardly won every round. Those were competitive fights from both guys. Claggett fought him well. Jermaine Ortiz fought him well. And we know that ABJ is coming off that huge victory when he went over to the UK and beat Catterall. Now, I don't know how much of this is recency bias on my end, because we covered the Catterall and Barbosa fight, and Catterall was a 3-1 favorite, and we picked Arnold to win, and he won. So I don't know how much of my prediction is because of that. But once again, if you take the money line, and money line Arnold Barbosa Jr., 305. So $100 gets you your money back plus 205. Teo's a 144. So what I'll do first, guys, is if you take all 7 of my money lines starting with the ABJ fight, it's only 5-1 odds. So I'll add all that up at the end. But if you take my prop bets, 96-1. So we're going to get into that as well. So if you like ABJ to beat Teofimo Lopez, 3-1. Now, the bet I really like, if you want to add this on a parlay, is Barbosa Jr. by decision is 400. So he goes from 305 to a 400. I don't see Arnold Barbosa Jr. knocking out Teofimo Lopez or stopping him, but I do see Barbosa Jr. winning a points decision. So with that in mind, you could jump your odds from 305 to 400 if you take ABJ by decision method of victory. I'm comfortable with that bet. I'm going to stick there. We're going to move on. We're going to now go to Devin Haney and Ramirez. Look, this fight means a lot to both of these men. I broke this video down during the week. I brought in one of my expert guys. He's a former pro boxer. I don't want to give his name away because he gives me a lot of insights on some of these fighters, and he wants to remain anonymous. But he's been with Jose Ramirez. He's watched his whole career. I kind of played an audio clip in my breakdown when I asked him about this fight, and he just feels the damage is starting to show on Ramirez when you watch him in camp. That fight against Maurice Hooker took a lot out of him, even though he won that fight by 6-round stoppage. And he just feels that Ramirez has seen his better days. And I didn't bring this up in my video, guys, and I don't like saying this, but this was my buddy's words. He claims that Team Garcia is going to cash out Ramirez. He feels that this is a big fight for him, and he's probably going to have one more fight after this against one of these up-and-comers. And he did name drop, but I'm not going to name drop. Because of that, I like Devin. He's only $1.11. $100 gets you your money back plus return. Let's talk about the parlay, though. Once again, guys, I don't see Devin stopping Ramirez. Ramirez is tough as nails. So if you take Devin to beat Ramirez, but you take him to win by decision, that's 130. So once again, that juices up the odds from 111 to 130. I really like that. I'll respond to some of these comments. Look, Teo is faster than Barbosa. You know what? Let's stay on track. Let me get through these bets, and then we can start shooting the shit about kind of the ins and outs of why you either agree or disagree with me. Okay? So once again, Haney, if you want him to just win, is $1.11. But if you take him method of victory to win by decision, which he's a decision victory machine, he's only 15 knockouts, it's a plus 130. I love that bet. Adds more value on your parlay. Moving forward, we got the main event, Ryan Garcia and Raleigh. I know you guys probably watched the weigh-ins. Garcia looked good on the scales. Raleigh looked good on the scales. This fight is at 147. Both men came in just a little bit under. I think both guys weighed in at 146.8, 146.5. Ryan's a huge favorite, $1.11. Raleigh, $77.75. I told you guys in my breakdown, I'm a fan of Raleigh. He's a wild card. I like how unpredictable he is. I like how he carries himself. He's an overachiever. It's shocking that he's made it this far. At one time he was a world champion. So my heart is with Raleigh. I hope Raleigh wins, but I'm not betting on Raleigh. And this is what happens. And when you start gambling responsibly and you're doing it to make money, you're not going to bet with your heart. You're going to bet with your wallet. So I'm going for Raleigh, but I'm taking Ryan to win. It's kind of like when I broke down a couple years ago, Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. I told all you guys, I'm going for EJ. I'm going for EJ. I hope Errol wins, but I'm betting on Bud to win. And I took a lot of heat for that. Kind of similar here. Garcia's $1.11, but some interesting props on that fight that I think you guys might be interested in. Ryan by knockout's $1.30. This is what he does. He's a knockout artist. So, or what I'm taking on my parlay is I'm taking the total knockdown over 1.5. I think this fight is going to go a little bit longer. I can see both guys either getting dropped, or I can see Raleigh being tough as nails and getting dropped more than once. If you like the +1 knockout prop bet, it's $1.85. So you could watch the fight and not really have to pick a winner. You just got to pick for bloodshed. That's $1.85. But my money line is Ryan to win. My prop bet is +1 knockdown. So we need 2 to win that. Moving forward, then I'll get to all your questions, guys. I like what you guys are doing with the under Raleigh, under 6.5. Okay, that goes against. I took the under 6.5 on Ryan. I like that bet, guys. I can see it happening. You know, both guys, they know each other. They're going to go in and put on a show. Did you guys see the ring? How they put it up in Times Square today? The energy is going to probably be through the roof. I could definitely see this fight ending early. Both guys are going to be there to get hit, and so I like that bet. Moving forward, guys, we've just covered New York City, Times Square. Let's go over to Riyadh. Now, I'm only a one-man show, so I wanted to cover at least 12 fights, but I run my own business. I just want to clear the air real quick because a lot of you guys were asking me to cover the Ajagba fight, the Bacoli fight. You wanted me to cover all these other fights, but I only had enough time to get to 7 fights. The 3 fights in New York City, and I got 2 fights in Riyadh. The rematch between Jaime Munguia and Bruno Saras. We know what happened in that first fight. Unbelievable. Saras was losing literally almost every exchange, and then he knocks Munguia out. Now, these odds are similar to the first fight, almost exactly in the same favor. Munguia is 112, Saras is 700. So Munguia is a huge favorite. I'm taking Munguia to get his vengeance. I'm taking Munguia to make some adjustments. You know, he would put Saras on the ropes the entire fight. He had him where he wanted, but every time they would exchange, we know Munguia's holes in his defense. He drops that lead hand. So he's exchanging here, and that drops, and Saras catches him with a beautiful right hand. Boom. I just don't see him landing that shot again. He's going to look for it because even if you rewatch that fight, you could hear Chris Algieri, who does great analysis work, was saying that it looks like Saras is thinking. This is around the 4th round. The knockout came in the 6th. And Algieri said it looks like Saras is looking for a shot. And it's exactly what he was looking for. It's similar to what Raleigh Romero is going to have to do against Ryan. Similar to what Devin Haney is going to have to do against Ramirez in terms of protecting from that lead hook. Because everybody who Devin fights from here on out is going to try to land that lead hook. Munguia is going to have to do the same thing with his defense. Everyone's going to know it. I think he's going to be class. I think, you know, he's good enough to make those adjustments. Now, if you don't like the 112, if you want more value, a prop bet I like is Munguia by knockout. Now, he has an 80% career knockout to win ratio. The reason why these stats sometimes do lie is because going into the last fight, Munguia took Canelo the distance, lost it. Saras had 4 knockouts. He had like a 12% knockout to win ratio. So people predicting that sometimes these things do happen, but I do think Munguia is going to get back on track. I think he's going to invest in the body a little bit more. I think he's going to turn the dial up, and I like Munguia by knockout at a +174. So if you think Munguia is going to win, I see him winning by knockout rather than a decision. And if you don't want to money line it, the knockout increases your odds from $1.12 to $1.74, and I like that value a lot. Put a bag on Noah Milliken to knock out Badu Jack. Oh, is that the Aussie? I know there's an Aussie fighting as well. My upset of the weekend is FA to knock out Bacoli. Agbe for the upset. See, this is the fight that I didn't get to cover. All you guys know your boxing, so keep tuning in. So Canelo and Skull, this is a fight that we have to cover. A lot of people don't like this fight, but it's happening. And you guys know me, I'm a boxing nerd. The closer we get to a fight night, even though on paper it might not sound like a good fight, I could get excited about. So I just did the prediction analysis. It's up on the channel. You got William Skull, IBF champ. The IBF did their magic show like they always do. You know, they stripped their fighter. They did this They did this with Usyk and Dubois. They're doing this with Canelo. Strip the belt, give the belt to someone else. Skull just beat Shishkin, won the belt, and it's for undisputed to make Canelo a 2-time undisputed at 168, even though he never lost the belt. Okay, those odds are insane. $1. Canelo's currently at $1.04. $100 gets you $4 in return. Skull is 1,400. Huge underdog. The thing about Skull's style, guys, if you don't watch him fight, he's going to be a counterboxer, and we know Canelo loves the counterbox. Skull is going to have, he's quick though, and he has that Cuban style movement, and we know Canelo does struggle a little bit with movers, a la Floyd Mayweather, a la Dimitri Bivol, even though they move differently in their own ways. But Skull's going to use his movement. He doesn't like his style. He doesn't like punching with his opponents. We're not going to see Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. I think he's going to try to poke, jab, exit. He's really good at controlling the rhythm, but look at his resume. Paper thin, never fought anybody even close to Canelo Alvarez. So I think if you want to add juice on the $1.04, take him. This is shocking. So what do you guys think about this? I want to hear your opinion on this, because Canelo could get his long-awaited knockout. This is my point, Cigar. But if he doesn't, he hasn't knocked somebody out we know since 2021. It was Caleb Plant. If you take Canelo by decision, it's 300. It's 3-1 money. Well, you get your 100 back, plus you get 200. So you take him to just win, he's $1.04. You take him to win by decision, he's $3. Now I think that's something to think about. If I lose this Arnold Barbosa fight, this is how I bet. If I lose the ABJ fight, I'm confident in the other fights, the Haney, the Garcia, the Munguia. I can see myself going heavy on Canelo beating Skull by decision. I think that Skull, that Cuban style, has enough skills to last 12 rounds with Canelo. So we'll just have to keep posted. But right now, I love that method of victory bet on a parlay. It adds a lot of juice. We got 2 fights left. Now, guys, we are in Las Vegas. A fight that nobody's really covering. One of my favorite fights of the weekend is Rafa Espinoza versus Edward Vasquez. Rafa Espinoza, 126 pounds. I know everybody's talking about Inoue either fighting Junta Nakatani if Junta moves up from 18 to 22, and then there's other fights to make it 22. But if Inoue, they put Rafa on the card for a reason. If Inoue moves up to 126, and Rafa has another spectacular knockout. He's fighting a tough Vasquez, 17-2, never been knocked out. But when you watch Espinoza fight, 6'1" plus at 126 pounds, in it for a dog fight. Those fights against Robesi Ramirez, when he got dropped almost out on his feet, and then he scores that late knockdown in the first fight, and then the second fight he stops him. I became a huge fan. He is a fun fighter to watch. $1.12 favorite, though, on the money line. I'm taking him. If you want more juice, Rafa by knockout. I think he's going to stop Vasquez. Like I told you, Vasquez never been knocked out. I think Rafa's style is built for it. I think Vasquez is going to give him the firefight that he wants. And Rafa by knockout's a 179. So almost, you get your 100 back plus $79. And then the last one we're going to talk about before I add these up for you guys and show you, Inoue, $1. Why even put that on your bet? He's fighting, he's fighting Ramon Cardenas. I talked to my buddy. Cardenas is tough. It's not the fight. It's another fight nobody wanted to see. You can get hype about it. Cardenas has never been knocked out. But even if you take Inoue by knockout, it's $1.10. So do what you want to do with the Inoue fight. Whenever the odds are super vast like that, I tend to stay away. But if you take Arnold Barbosa Jr., these are money lines. ABJ, Haney, Garcia, Munguia, Canelo, Rafa, Inoue, it's 5-1. So $100 gets you 500. I've already put that bet in my sports book. I'll put that in the community notes so you guys can see. My method of victory bet, though, guys, is 96-1. 96-1. $100 gets you almost 10 grand. And that's if you do all of the method of victories we just spoke about. ABJ by decision, 400. Devin by decision, 130. Garcia and Romero to have over one knockdown, 185. Munguia by knockout, 174. Canelo by decision, 290. Rafa by knockout, 179. And Inoue by knockout, $1.10. That pays 96-1. I already put that. I put $50 on that, 50 to win 5,000. I'll show you guys in the community section. Let's chat a little bit. The under on Inoue is always a safe bet. I like it. I think Skull might go to the decision. I don't think it's a dehydration. No, there's no dehydration clause. I think Skull is good enough to go the decision too. We'll get clowned to say that now, but let's wait till fight night. I mean, he's the IBF champ. Um, Interesting, Rafa by stoppage. I think Vasquez is tough, and most people think he beat Ford. I think he did. I like an over prop on that fight. Goat. I like the. I don't have too much luck on the over and unders. I don't have a lot of experience betting that way, so I'm going to leave that up to you, Ricardo Valles. What's up? Let's see your lifetime stats. Easy, my lifetime stats. Go to my playlist. I have great question, Easy. I have it sorted in a playlist called predictions. You can see all of them. I'm close to 80%. If I lose 2 fights out of 7, I get pissed. So, and you guys let me know when I do lose a fight. So I'm all good with that. Hope that hit. See your lifetime stats, already covered that. If they allow you to place a 50 on that, obviously not profitable. Winners get limited, losers stay unlimited. What are you talking about, mate? Ogbot prediction. Diego, man, I didn't get a chance to cover that fight. I know Bacoli's coming off of that early stoppage against Parker. I know Ajagba has a lot of hype around him. I think FA pulls it off. I don't want to just guess. I know Bacoli's a slight favorite, but I know there's a lot of hype on Ajagba. How do you think, guys? How do you think that's going to go? And then there's a ton of other fights this week. I think FA pulls it off. That Bacoli knockout, guys, even though he took it on short notice, it was kind of an odd one. It's not like, he took a lot of damage. Parker grazed him like here, lost his equilibrium, and that was that. That's why he's fighting so soon. Do you live bet Skull's there to give Canelo work? Turk isn't going to allow Canelo versus Crawfish to fall through. I agree. Sportsbooks love keeping bettors that lose. If you're a winner, they limit your bet size. You're not familiar. Okay. Guys, it's text messaging. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand your context, what you were saying. The hand history vault, Bacoli is overrated. He's a big boy, though. He got power in them hands. Chris Johnny, what do you think of the Badu Jack versus Noel fight? Let's check that one right now. And I wanted to cover Badu Jack, too, because the guy's had a long career. He's been in there with some good guys. I mean, he's 28-3. Yeah, he's up there. Let's see, 17 knockouts. He's fighting nowhere. I don't know much about Mycogen. Let's see what Mycogen is. How do you guys post your? I always post my picks. I've been doing. If Agba loses, his career's over. So Narir Mycogen is 27-2, 44% career. He's the cruiserweight champ. I mean, what are these odds then? Because Badu Jack's fighting for a title again. What an interesting fight this is. How do you guys see that going down? Hasn't fought in the last 3 years and is almost 42. Yeah, I see that. How's he have it says he still has the WBC World Cruiser. Does that make sense? Okay, I just didn't have time to cover that fight. I don't know. If he hasn't fought in 3 years, I know more about Badu Jack. I'd like to see him get the victory. But he's going against a guy with only a 44% knockout to win ratio, cruiserweight. We'll see what happens. It's an interesting division. It's getting better the longer we speak, actually. Jeff, take the over, Badu Jack. Go the distance. I like it. I got to watch more FA to give you an answer. Not sure how disciplined he is in the ring. I think Bacoli is good at bringing you into a firefight. So if FA is a good boxer, see, you guys know your boxing, man. I learned just as much through you guys than I do when I'm studying on the internet. Kirsten, Badu Jack getting knocked out in less than 6 is my opinion. Okay. So that's something to think about. WBC is weird. Noel is considered WBC in recess. Okay. It's also weird how on BoxRec they don't recognize the IBF anymore. So when you're looking at some of these titles, if you look at or they don't recognize the WBA anymore. So if you look at, for instance, Gervonta, who has the WBA strap, BoxRec doesn't even recognize that, so it won't even show that he has a title. And it's weird that they're showing that Narir Mycogen, if that's a belt in recess. Because usually they don't show champions in recess belts next to their names. Because Devin Haney allegedly is a champ in recess, and BoxRec doesn't show his name next to it. They switch places for champion in recess. They hand in history. Johnny, look at the fight closer. Both Jack and Inoue fight nearly the same time. Both fight Makabu in 2023. Both have the same layout. Who wins this fight? Hand to history vault. Tell us. Okay, so guys, Muscle Brown just sent me his picks. I'm reading the message now. I'm going to put that up in our group. Lopez versus Barbosa. I covered that. look, that was the first fight we covered. Ricardo, say hi. Badu Jack spent 90% of his career at super middle and light heavyweight. It appears Boxrec has the lead at WA history because WA is working with. Yeah, that's exact. Fight Facts. I covered that maybe 6 months ago, and then Fight Facts just disappeared. I don't know what happened to them. Badu Jack, I don't see him getting stopped. He is tough. How do you think Verdi does in his pro debut? Dude, you guys are boxing heads. I love it. Yeah, there's some awesome fights on this card. What do you guys think about Conor Benn in New York City? They they he's trying to position himself with the winner of he wants to fight Ryan, but we want to see Ryan versus Dev again. Conor Benn's kind of it's interesting how in this day and age, guys, when you see there was a time when if you got popped for anything, if you got popped for performance enhancing drugs in any sport, think about baseball. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before the steroid era, and he's still not in the Hall of Fame. Look at his numbers when he was with the Pirates. His stealing bases, home runs, RBIs, batting average. Barry Bonds, in my opinion. So, guys, I played college baseball. I didn't tell you guys that. A lot of you guys don't know that about me. So I use a lot of baseball analogies as well. But he is ostracized from the sport of baseball. Not in the pro, not in Cooperstown. He should be a Hall of Famer. He's not invited to any of these award shows. And this was a whole era in the 90s who were all in the juiced era. But you have Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia, two guys who popped, proven to pop, and quite sort of honestly now, Ben is a bigger star after we just saw him versus Chris Eubank Jr., even though he lost. We saw that heart and that desire he has. And Ryan Garcia became a bigger star after he popped dirty. It's insane. So, part of me likes that. Part of me, I don't know how I feel about that. Let them both fight each other on the roids. Yeah, get them all on the roids. There's a lot more bigger problems in boxing than PEDs. I don't know, man. PEDs puts fighters' life at risk and they put their careers at risk. I kind of disagree. I think fighters' health should be number one overall, and PEDs should be at the top of the line. It should be 100% clean. And if you pop, I would ban you for life. That's just me. I'm an old school sort of guy. I don't think there's any room for performance enhancing drugs. History Vault, Noel fought Makabu like 10 months. I forgot about Makabu. That dude's tough. After Badu, that's a long time. It's been 2 years. You guys know your shit. You guys do know your shit. I like reading. I don't know. Go the distance on Vasquez. I'd go the distance on Vasquez. Okay. I mean, he's never been knocked out. I don't know. I think I like where Rafa's at in his career. That I'm comfortable with the Rafa knockout. But hey, time will tell. Salute, Johnny. I appreciate all you guys. Raw dog snack is not multivitamins. Here we go again with the snack. Kirsten Inoue is also a natural cruiserweight. I find it interesting that Haney, Garcia, and Romero are ranked above Conor Benn at 47, considering they never fought at that weight. Hopefully, Ben gets a world title fight with one of them. The thing about fight style, you know what I mean? Just how willing he is. I think I froze up there. Are we on? Exactly what should know when. We're frozen. Message rejected. Okay, you guys can hear me, but you can't see me. The screen is just black. Let me try to fix this.